like to welcome my viewers to our interview series, which is called The Story of Making Tomorrow. And that is Fifth Wave Manufacturing's effort to bring some of the bright minds in the industry together so that we can learn from them. And so our guest today is Dr. Thomas Evans. He is with Honeywell. He is the Chief Technology Officer of Robotics, or I guess you could reverse that, Robotic Chief Technology Officer. That's a better way to say it. And welcome very much, Thomas. Thank you for joining us.
Excellent. Thanks, Dave. It's a pleasure talking with you previously. Glad we can get together, have some more dialogue.
Absolutely. So let's launch into our questions here. First, automation is not only here to stay, it's really a necessary thing in the manufacturing environment. Give us a milestone. Where are we in terms of automation right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you hit it on the spot, is with the conversations that we're having and the maturity in the space, the customers that want to adopt automation or have delivered automation are becoming more savvy and intelligent as they've progressed through their evaluations in view of the return on investment for adding automation. With that, I think we have matured in a lot of the disciplines and areas where we apply it to a very high level. But I think that increased adoption that has happened in the last couple of years and the increased performance that we're seeing in some of the automation systems, whether it's robotic pick and place, mobility robotics to move pallets, cases, raw material from point A to point B and complete the applications inside of the warehouse, DC, or manufacturing facility. We're seeing a broader level of maturity and also increase in operational time that's allowing us to get broader insights of how we make that automation even better than what it is in the initial adoption phase. That's something I'm excited about. And with that, with the customers that we're working with and coming to us and coming to me and asking the questions around not just putting that individual piece of automation on their floor and increasing some productivity or a manufacturing process, but talking in the vision side of it, talking down the road about if that is my first step, where am I going to be in my roadmap for steps 2, 3, 4, 5 within the next 3, 5 years? And in turn, what does that do for me in metrics of productivity, throughput, yield, or even reduced dependency on labor? So those are the conversations that I'm really engaged with now in my position, our partners and customers, and really looking at that from the current state of maturity of advanced automation and robotics, and also projecting against our roadmap and our development where we're going to be in the next 3, 5, 10 years.
When you're out there talking with people, do you think people were prepared for the explosion of robotics? I mean, everyone was saying, we don't have any people. We can't recruit the people. Now suddenly here's this thing that can solve a lot of those problems. Were people ready for that, or are they ready for that?
I think they were ready. I think, but there wasn't the deeper understanding of taking the readiness position to a deployment position.
Right.
So there's technology. You can go to many of the conferences, trade shows, and see some great technology. There's some cutting edge companies out there and algorithms and solutions that we see that are appealing. And we also do that in our development team organically, but they were not ready in the aspect of, okay, I love that technology. I can get an ROI and productivity from it. But then how do I make it real inside of my workspace? How do I train my operational staff that's currently there? How do I make sure that the operations, that staff that's feeding a robotics or automation system or assisting it, they're prepared to have those specifications met. So we do get that return on investment and the yield after using it for shifts and months and quarters. I think that was the process, and looking through not just the technology, but who can be the solution provider to one, deliver the technology, mature technology, but also handle it from end to end in the deployment process, adoption process, and then scaling process after success of the first adoption.
I think it takes a special person to, it's not like saying, hey, we need some resources, let's go buy another dump truck. It's not at all. We have to fan it out, we have to plan it out, and I think it's its own art. I mean, you see it every day, I guess, right?
It is. And I think, we gain a lot from being in lockstep with the customers that want to adopt our automation and solutions. And
Yeah.
that's something I highly encourage with our product engineering and R&D team is get completely close with the operators, the engineering teams that have interest or purchase our products or see us as a solution provider. That helps us to be in lockstep with what actually means success for them. That helps us to be able to, one, look at the products and the specifications that we have, and then make sure that's compliant in their facility with their product, with their operations, with the manufacturing process. And two, then look at once we get to that point of performance and the customer sees that productivity, how do we maintain it so they continue that for multiple years down the road, but then look at the next step for where they can gain a competitive edge against their competition. So that's what we're saying. Those are the conversations. And I think it's at a great point of maturity where we're going to take that even further with what we're offering.
AI is also here. I mean, it's coming out in, things like Mitsubishi uses it inside one of its laser cutters. And there are a lot of things happening like that. What are you seeing out there, and what do you wish would happen as this whole thing kind of unfurls for everyone?
It's a very popular topic and has been for the last couple of years. And when joining Honeywell 3 years ago, it's an area I knew that we should invest and prioritize based upon the competitive position it will put us in, not just for automation and advanced robotics, but the growth trajectory that we could offer to a broader customer base. I mean, Honeywell is a very diverse company. There's a lot of businesses that we operate in, but artificial intelligence is one that can be applied throughout all of our business ranks and through what we see in our broad customer base. Talking about it and the areas where the conversation has changed from when I came in and looking at intelligence, machine learning from the technical aspect, where we have been deep in the algorithms, we've been deep in the neural networks and the approach to how we make it reliable in a convoluted and complex setting like a manufacturing facility or a DC or warehouse space. Now society with generative AI applications that are coming out into the public domain may not have seen that technical understanding in the last couple of years, but now they're seeing with some of these examples, albeit not direct applications to automation in a sense, but we are tapping into it and projecting how that's going to impact automation in the next 4, 6, 12 months and then the years beyond. But just seeing the complexity of the intelligence tool and what it can provide as far as information, knowledge, and inferencing of what something could be. We have tapped into that technically on the intelligence side to draw inferences from, not our automation systems just performing from point A to point B in a defined scope or space. But when that dynamic changes or how you want to optimize a performance application or mechanism, drawing that inference from the two closest applications that were handled previously with intelligence. And that's a simplified solution. The big aspect of that when we talk about robotics and automation is we're generally trying to replicate what the human system can do with sensing, feeling, visualizing, and then the cognition to be able to perform an intelligent action and then repeat the process or enhance the process. A big area of that is computer vision and making sure that that first part, whatever you're visualizing, whether it's in the manufacturing space or others, if you're going to draw data streams to input into an AI algorithm, that first visualization of what you're seeing, what is it, where is it in a three-dimensional space, and all that in various lighting conditions and dynamic motion tracking, those are all things that are complex. So when joining Honeywell, that was an area in addition to the AI space and the robotics and automation that we were pursuing, really understanding the overlap between artificial intelligence, computer vision, and making that something that is reliable and scalable and harnessing that. And that's something that's coming out in our products and has come out in the last couple of years. Our smart flexible depalletizer uses it. It uses computer or AI-based computer vision to detect the complexities in a 3D environment of various pallets, whether it's structured, unstructured, same inside of our trailer loaders and unloaders. And making those more advanced with the tools that are coming out with AI or something that we're leveraging right now and enhancing our current products that already use AI based on new releases.
Your data needs go up tremendously. There's no way to not have increased data needs from that. Um, is Honeywell working on some of the computing solutions that are new to, I guess, the warehouse or some of the manufacturing spaces?
Yeah, I can speak to that in regards to how we see it on the automation robotics side. And I think that we're very well positioned. You hit on a very good point. That's a complexity for us. I mean, the data stream for advanced computer vision, AI-based computer vision solutions, we want to see every image all the time.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have that in a global cloud architecture, which Honeywell is well positioned to do with what we're maturing right now with Honeywell Forge, broader enterprise architectures with complete connectivity to all of our assets, a view at the machine level and a view at the software level, a view with data insights and intelligence to the labor workforce, all of that wrapped into an enterprise architecture, which we're creating the data streams that will capture all the images from our AI-based computer vision solutions. With that, we can draw stronger correlations with how we're using the computer vision solutions in one application to another, one customer facility to their next, or the network of how they're deploying our computer vision solutions. That's something that's challenging. And if you look at the compute, if you look at the repository capability, Honeywell's positioned better than anyone. And you look at our play also to draw more deep correlations and inferences from that. I see that being picked up by quantum and at some level, and we're positioned very well in quantum. I mean, how do you optimize a very, very large data set that's handling global data information? That's one way you're going to have to be able to compute for very large optimization sets. And I think that's something not just with the IPC capability for compute and the enhancements at the chip level, but I think also on the quantum side, it's something to be considered as it comes to global data modeling and global AI solutions.
That's a great point. And in fact, I was thinking as you said that there are those companies, big companies, that will need to balance their workloads globally. But now you also need to have some kind of secure internet connectivity as well, and interoperability. You know, every time we make an advance in this, it seems like it climbs up the OSI stack, right? So we go from physical connectivity all the way up to applications that need to interoperate across, you know, countries, really. Yet another level of complexity. Are you seeing do you have any customers who are facing that right now?
If you're speaking about product security, I mean, on that level, and the interoperability, that's something that we're active in right now as far as utilizing more than one system communication protocol and driving that through our product security before the products hit the customer floor. That's a requirement of ours in product development and product engineering and commercialization. If you talk about differentiation, if Honeywell is a lead position partner for a customer, solution provider that's going to be able to deliver the interoperability from a software perspective and also provide the same level of software security, product security, that's within our DNA of what we provide in the commercialization process of product engineering. And we know firsthand the security threats and the risk that can be posed and how important it is to all of our customers, large or small, to make sure we stay ahead of it.
That's a really important issue to a lot of people. We'll get back to robotics for a moment. Where are people first employing robots in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, the conversations and the applications that we're deploying are in that redundant task or the one that's not highly productive for a laborer or a manufacturer to be involved in. Anything where we can provide the gains to increase productivity, sustain productivity over the shift or quarter, whatever it may be for the customer, and also removing personnel from redundant activity, high labor intensive activity in difficult environments. Manufacturing space, warehousing space, you see a lot of that at the dock door. You see a lot of that at the palletizing side, hence we talked about some of the products. Unloading boxes inside of a container or a trailer in, let's say, Arizona, 120-degree heat in the middle of the day, reaching to a feed is not something you really want your labor workforce prioritizing. And you see a lot of turnover there if you do have a labor workforce in that area of the manufacturing facility or receiving or outbound. So we have launched several products that are in robotic loading and unloading. We have those in commercial deployment in the last couple of years and are maintaining and exceeding rates that the workforce was providing before we introduced automation. That's one area of adoption that's a pretty broad topic and a conversation throughout all of our customer base, regardless of the vertical or industry, manufacturing, D&F, e-com retail. It's a common thread point there in that space. And the same is applied for palletizing, just the redundant movements of doing that for 80 to 100 pound products.
Yeah.
Day long, all shift long. That's something where we see a lot of turnover. And that's one of the reasons why we put a lot of technology and solutioning into the smart flexible palletizer and some of our palletizing applications. Then again, generally, that's the portfolio and strategy we built our automation around, was to develop solutions in the articulated space, which is defined as robotic loading and unloading if we're picking and placing. Same with palletizing. And then also mobility. You're not going to get productivity out of a worker carrying a product from point A to point B or from process machine 1 to process machine 2. We want to make sure that can be handled in mobility and delivered. And machine tending is a great example of that. I mean, that's something that is readily available that we have deployed and delivered in multiple facets, whether it be, carting totes of product, individual items, or all the way up to bulk pallets or bundles of material that can be readily deployed right now. And it's an area of adoption that our customers are keen on. So I would say those would be probably top 2 or 3. And then I think that some of the enhanced robotics, welding is one, scripted motion, capability, looking at areas where you can increase performance or take some of that ability or responsibility away from workers in that environment or increase productivity through it. Always something to look at in those scripted processes to increase productivity in the workforce.
With your permission, I'm going to tear up the rest of my questions because you're a good speaker. Give us an idea, and I know our time's kind of running out, but give us an idea, if you would, of what Honeywell's kind of roadmap is. How do you guys look at the world? How is your deployment and customer need meeting? How's that rolling out in the next, say, 3 years?
I mean, if I had to say, from being here for 3 years and how we're engaging and how we're pushing a broader roadmap, we look at the world pretty much through the eyes of our customers and deeply understand, what they're looking for to make their operations and business successful. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
And to dive into the deeper aspect of that, product engineering, chief technology officer, driving not just a solution and a product, but a solution path in lockstep with customers, as we talked about before, is the top of my responsibility list. So that's how we see it as far as, where is our roadmap in technology capability, as far as what's going to make a difference for our customer base. Then also being very adept and knowledgeable about the technologies in our IP portfolio that we've developed, maintained, and deliver new patents every day. But also keeping an eye on the markets and new technologies that are coming in through innovations, through research and science that are going to impact where we're going over the multiple years, 5, 10 years. That's how we create a broader vision roadmap. If I'm speaking on robotics and automation, the robotics side, I look at what's being done from various level technology providers. Also very keen on my team working in a sandbox in the R&D environment, understanding, if we want to push the envelope with this new application, or in the manufacturing side, if we try this with robotics and our foundational technologies that are already in our products, pushing that into a new application and really pushing the envelope of what it can do. We want to assess that not just theoretically, but in a test build environment to make sure we're delivering something and understand completely how it's going to work in our vision roadmap over the next multiple years. Those are things that we're always working on. And then a very structured, once we get that ideation, that innovation for what's next, Honeywell has a very rigorous product development path that we have to go through the gates and have our executive teams and scientists coming in from other areas of our business vet it, make sure it meets the requirements and is sound, and then as we were discussing before, the product security on the back end, it has to meet all those metrics and, have the Honeywell signature on it before it goes as a piece of the roadmap into actual production. So that's the broad level view, and it's a very challenging environment, one I enjoy working in. I think that's what differentiates Honeywell in our offerings.
I can imagine where a lot of the work is it's very solution oriented work, right? So, gosh, nobody's invented this, and we need a solution for it. Picking up soft things with a robot is one of those things, and several solutions are available. You probably have worked on that yourself, or one of your team members has. So, but it sounded like you hinted at a little bit of we're working ahead of the curve a little bit.
I think as a leader, that's something that definitely happens as we're driving in our direction to win and be successful and make our customers win. It's going to push the envelope, and it's going to open up to the public and our competitors, where Honeywell is going. That's something that we want to just stay focused on. And if it's our vision and roadmap, we take that from a vision and roadmap and execute on it. Those are areas that I think that something our teams, the teams across Honeywell, are very much dedicated to. But it also goes both ways. We see that there's changes in not just technology, but there's also society changes in areas with pandemics that we have to be flexible and nimble. If we had a vision and roadmap, it can't be fully set if everything around us is changing and changing quickly. So that's something I'm very proud of, is seeing how we have overcome some of those obstacles and kept an open eye to how those impacts affected our customers in the last couple of years. We really accelerated what we could do because we heard the demand of, we need automation. We don't have a workforce. We can't go into our facility. Where are you, Honeywell, with being able to provide this? And my team, the other teams across Honeywell, we're in the lab and on the customer site, deploying and developing and maintaining at an accelerated pace. I mean, that's what really captures the attention to be a global leader. Those are the things that really capture the public's eye and the attention of what we do as a global engineering company.
What do you think are a couple of trends to look out for next year?
As we talked initially, I think you'll see broader adoption from some various levels in industry for automation. The general automation that may not be one that's a cutting edge, but has been around for a couple of years, you'll see more adoption rates.
Okay.
I think you'll see more advancements in autonomous control, whether that autonomous system is a driverless vehicle, whether it's a robotic pick and place solution or robotics mobility, or the broader integrated solutions of those. The technology and proving out of that technology has matured drastically with the tools that are in our hands now. Third, I would say that not just that integrated solution, but I know at Honeywell, what's on my mind, where we are projecting our integrated solutions to go, are broader sets of how we automate not just processes or point solutions or a linkage of point solutions in whatever facility, but we have a broad stream of data. And we talked about the data being so important to automation and the processes. We have a broad stream of that across all of Honeywell. And that's what's going to enable us and has enabled us with advancing all of our businesses, capturing data, standardizing it, understanding how it can be reused. That's what I'm very interested in, to take it from the point solution, integrated solution, to more of a fully automated facility. If we get close to that percentage of a fully automated facility and just have the required amount of manual workforce to keep it churning, that's a big win. Mm-hmm. But the way we get there is by truly understanding those foundational technologies and driving autonomous systems with a data stream that's reliable, and then building on the capability of that autonomous system into full facilities. That's what I see as the focus, and some increased focus coming in the next couple of years.
Well, great. Thomas, thank you so much. I know you've got a hard stop here, but I really want to thank you for joining us on our program. And if you'll entertain the thought, we'd like to have you back again sometime.
Excellent. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.